All right, guys, welcome to the call. My name is Julius Gilger, and I'm excited to have on our special guest. We have Darlene Moore joining us. She's a 50K producer. She's been with Family First Life for only, I think, maybe 6 to 8 months, and she's just been crushing it. We're excited to have her on. Darlene, how's it going out there?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. Thanks for jumping on. So, Darlene, why don't we start off by just, maybe telling a little bit about yourself, kind of, how did you find Family First Life? Just give us a little bit about yourself, and then let's jump into kind of what your journey has been here at Family First.
Sure. So I am Darlene Moore. I live outside of the Raleigh area in North Carolina. I had a pretty rough year, I think, like everyone else did, the year of COVID. I was a former restaurant owner, managed a restaurant, catering company, event planning, you name it. Had done that for about 10 years with my husband. But then during COVID, we had a really rough time just trying to keep the doors open between our staff getting sick and just having like protests and having to board up. And it was just, you name it, it was a lot of challenges. And we came to the point where we realized we needed to close our business. So that really kind of catapulted me into needing to find something else to do. My sister-in-law had just opened up a insurance agency, so it had me thinking about insurance. I knew that maybe I didn't necessarily want to work with her because we were already very close-knit as a family, but it had me thinking about insurance. So I had come across a job posting somewhere online, maybe Indeed or something like that, and had spoke with Clay. Clay had called me, reached out to me. And ironically, our situations were very similar. At that point, our restaurant had closed. I was working and managing like a bar, nightclub, bartending, and that was his former background as well. So I could really relate to him, just knowing how successful he had been, and he had had a similar background and had never had any insurance industry experience. So I really kind of took my time studying, got my license, and then right about the time of convention last year, which would have been like early February, is when I was going to start part-time. But then that bar nightclub that I had mentioned, it had ended up closing. There was a big incident that happened while I was away at convention, so it closed. Then again, my husband and I were both out of work. So that really kind of pushed me. I went from where I was going to go in kind of putting my toe in the water to like jumping in all in. So my husband took care of our 7 and 10-year-old children. And then I really just went to work. I, just didn't have any other choice. And it was probably the best thing to happen to me having to go in that way. So.
Got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, when you started, were you full-time with us right away, or did you start part-time?
I was part-time just because the restaurant was closing down the first couple weeks I started. And I think I was full-time early March. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what did it look like for you when you first started? If you can take us back, because we do have a lot of new people watching today, right? So when you first started, what did that look like? What did your lead purchases look like? What did maybe your first, few weeks on the phones in the field look like for you?
Right. Well, I am not anywhere near office, so I really needed to engage myself as much as possible. I definitely got on the dial team. That was a huge help to me because otherwise I would have felt pretty much in the dark. So that helped me a lot. My lead purchases, honestly, they weren't very big in the very beginning. I had to, my first ones were small because I didn't have the money for it, but then I kept funneling the money back in to grow my lead purchases.
What is small for you? Because everyone's
yeah, sorry, I'll be more specific. It was probably about 500 for the first one, and then it grew. Now at this point, my lead purchases are about 2,000 a week, 2,500 a week. Because I realized with increasing my lead purchase, I was having more productivity. There was definitely a link. So I'm like, well, the more I put in, the more I'm going to get out. So.
Okay. So you started with $500 in lead purchase in a week. And then what kind of leads were you getting when you started?
Probably a lot of age leads. I was trying to get as many as I could. So I was doing like the 1 month or 3 month life internet leads. Working those. But really my mindset was kind of like a bulldog. I just had to like go at this really hard, and I wanted to get my money out of all the leads. Like I'm still like that today where, if I get 15 appointments, I'm not stopping. I'm going to continue to call because I know there's still like gold in that patch. So yeah, I was just kind of, I just persevered a lot on the phone. That was my biggest thing that I think helped me.
Okay. Were you good on the phones when you started? Because most people aren't.
No, no one's good on the phone. I was definitely way too chipper, way too excited to talk to people. And I had to kind of tone that down. I mean, I do loosen up a little bit after they've been on the phone a little bit, and I get a little more playful now. But yeah, I mean, live dial was the biggest thing, because I wouldn't have known I was making mistakes, and it was really live dial and unmuting myself for people to really help. And that's what it's there for. So if you guys haven't been on there, that's where you need to be, just to really, curtail your craft.
Okay. All right. So we started with second chance leads, right? Lead sounds like leads out of the CRM back then, and your lead investment was about 500. Now you're doing 2,000 or more. So what are you investing into now? What kind of leads are you getting today?
Honestly, I haven't really changed that up too much. I'm buying newer leads. So a lot of the instance, definitely work spots, taking advantage of those deals whenever they come up. I did do some of the mailers for mortgage protection in my county and the county surrounding me. So that's really been the only change. I still really work primarily out of the CRM.
Got it. Okay. Has that been, so working mortgage leads, has that helped you? What have you noticed a difference when you added that into your lead mix?
Yeah, I feel like, I average a higher premium there. I'm not running into some of the issues I run into with final expense, like people that might not have bank accounts, because I've never met someone with a mortgage without a bank account. But I mean, all leads are good leads. I still work a ton of final expense, but I do like my mortgage protection now that I'm more comfortable. I had to kind of learn that in the beginning. So.
Okay. So if we can, let's start off with, maybe if we can share your phone script and kind of what you're doing. I think that'll help the new folks on here, because I think it's, obviously you've been doing this for a few months now. You've been producing at a high level. So you've learned how to, handle yourself on the phones and how to do that accordingly. So if we can just share what you do on the phones in your phone script, that'd be great.
Okay. I'm going to dial you. Is that right?
Yeah, well, you're booking.
Or am I just giving tips?
No. Okay. Let's actually do a role play.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Hey, Julius.
Hello.
Hey, Julius.
Yeah.
Julius, this is Darlene from the benefit office here in Wake County. I was just getting back to you about the life insurance request you had sent in, just to verify the information that you put here. You're at 123 Success Way. And then I have your date of birth is 1/12/54. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, Julius. So again, my name's Darlene. I'm just letting you know we did get your request in. I'm actually just the local field underwriter that's been assigned out to you to go through some quick eligibility. The plan's non-medical, so there's no blood, no physical, nothing like that. But because of that, they do have me just check your ID, make sure you're you, not strapped to a hospital bed or anything like that. That doesn't sound like you, right?
Not the last time I checked, no.
Okay, great. So it only takes about 10-15 minutes. Now, Julius, are you still working full time? Are you retired?
I'm still working.
Okay, got it. And are you single, married, widowed, or divorced?
Single.
Single? Okay, perfect. And your work schedule, what time are you typically in the door? Is that about 5 or 6, or a little bit earlier or later?
About 5.
5? Okay, perfect. So they do have me dispatched out tomorrow and Wednesday in the area. I'm going to be seeing about 15 other families. Really, I don't have a lot of time seeing the amount of families I am, but I can get this out to you pretty quick. I don't have an opening at 5 o'clock, but I do have one at 5:30 or 6:15. Do you have a preference?
Can you just email it to me, actually?
Oh, I wish I could. That would make my job way easier. But yeah, since these are state regulated, they do have me come out and just verify you're alive and breathing, but it won't take that long because I've got a lot of families to see. Yeah. So which time would be better for you? The 5:30 or the 6:15?
Let's do 6:15.
Okay, perfect. And then barring any emergencies, no reason why you wouldn't be home tomorrow about that time, right?
I think I should.
Okay, perfect. All right. Would it be safer to make it a little bit later, or you typically are home about 6:15?
Yeah, let's make it a little later just to be safe.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, I do have a 7 o'clock. Would that be best?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good, good. So perfect. So Julius, if you'll go ahead and grab a pen and a piece of paper, I'll just give you my information so you know who to expect.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so Julius, my name is Darlene Moore. My state license number, it's 1973-65-65. You can look me up if you want to. I'll be carrying that with me so you'll know it's me. I've got blonde hair and a black Honda CRV. And then I've got you down for 7 o'clock. Can you repeat that state license number back? I just want to make sure you got it correct.
1973-65-65.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. And just so I don't get lost, the numbers, are they on the house or are they on the mailbox?
They're on the house.
Okay, perfect. And do we have any large attack dogs or anything like that I should know about?
No, just a little attack dog.
Okay, I can handle little attack dogs. We'll be right then. I'll bring some puppy treats. Well, perfect. Well, Julius, I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Look forward to meeting you and helping you. If you will, just give me a little window of time, maybe about 30 minutes on either end in case I'm running behind with the other families I have to see, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, see you then. Bye.
So when you first start, so great job, obviously. You were handling some resistance, right? I like to call it initial reluctance is what that typically is on the phone, right? But when you first would have that and you were on the phones, were did you stumble? Did you like what was that like for you?
Oh, it was hard. I mean, I was not, the biggest issue I think I had is I didn't know what to say. So there would be a pause and that was their perfect opportunity to hang up. So now I'm better at those transitions where whatever they say, there's really only a handful of things they're going to throw at you. And when you hear them enough times, you know what to say quicker, where they're not going to hang up. I think I dealt with that the biggest, where I was, looking at all the possible answers and I was just stumbling because I was too slow to respond. So you learn with repetition.
So let's go through the few things that we hear on the phone, right? So email us. You just handled that one, so we're not going to do that one. What would you say if I said, "Hey, I'm not interested, Darlene"?
I completely understand. I'm just a field underwriter here in the county, so it's just my job to get this to you. Whatever you want to do with it's up to you. I'm already out in the area, a couple blocks away. What time's better for you? And then I get back into trying to close them with the time.
Okay. And then, so I'm not interested. I don't have any time.
Oh my goodness, me either. I totally understand. But do you typically have a day that you're off during the week, or what does your schedule look like? I'll kind of, be a little more flexible with my schedule to try to see, maybe they're not available Wednesdays and Thursdays, but, I can catch them at the, end of one of my dial days if they're in town or something. Yeah.
So no matter what they say, it sounds like you have a process. You're acknowledging them. I understand. I hear you. Some sort of transition statement, right? To respond to what they're saying, and then you just get right back into the script and go into setting the time.
Exactly.
Yep. Awesome. And guys, that takes practice, right? You're not gonna don't expect to be good at that, but understand like what Darlene is saying here is. She made a lot of phone calls. She got feedback, right? She got on the dial team. And if you guys have ambition to be a 30, 40, 50K producer, it's just learning how to get better at these different things, and understanding that they're only going to throw a few objections at you, right? They're not practicing how to get better at throwing you off your script, but we're practicing on how to get better at handling their objections. So. Cool. Well, all right. So let's talk about this. How many appointments do you run in a week, right? I mean, you've been running up the leaderboard, the last few months. So talk to us about how many appointments do you run a week?
Sure. So really, I think I just kind of took everything to heart that I learned from the beginning about making sure you have your 15 appointments. So that has just been like a staple. Like I don't go out in the field without 15 minimum. And then from there, I don't really stop. I'm kind of like addicted to dialing, I guess you would say, because when I hit my 15, I'm like, ooh, well, I still have like an hour window here where I could cram someone else in and see them. So 15 is minimum, but really it's probably closer to about 18 appointments every 2 dial days. I mean, every 2 run days. I really like the, after I've done all my dials for the day, the next morning, I always feel like that 8 to 9 o'clock window. And then when people are getting home from work, even if I'm on a run day, if I have some downtime, I'm dialing then, because I'm going to catch a lot more people then, because that window is so short and you can't get a hold of everybody during that 8 to 9 or that, 5 to 6, whatever it is. So I'm still dialing even when I've got my appointments full for the day.
Okay. Okay. So you are a believer that appointments are the answer.
Well, it's a big funnel. It's going to start with purchasing the leads so you have enough people to dial, and then it's going to be the appointments. But, I feel like there's, if I book a lot of my appointments early, I still feel like there's a lot of people that I miss that, still want the coverage. I just haven't got a hold of them. So I still continue to dial. I don't consider 15 to be done. So.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because what do you think's harder, booking the appointments or actually doing the in-home?
I think most people would agree. The phone, I probably have a little bit more anxiety on phone days, but then once you have a few under your belt, you just want to keep going. The in-home, you've already done the work. I think the work is really the phones, and if you can get that down, then, the in-homes, they're just fun to me. I really enjoy meeting people and hearing their stories and trying to figure out how I can help them. So that doesn't feel like work. Now,
yesterday you put up a post about clients that you helped, and I don't have the exact verbiage, but you talked a little bit about when you show people you care, they're going to buy from you. And talk to us a little bit about what that post was about and what, how that pertains to kind of what you did with clients and how you help them.
Sure. So I have a new agent, and I'm helping her right now, and she keeps focusing on products, and I keep bringing it back. Like, you don't need to worry about products. You don't need to worry about what you say in the home. Like, really the biggest thing is that you're there, you're present, you're trying to help them, And I think that brought up a quote in my mind. I'm really big on motivational quotes, and it brought up one by, I'm going to botch it up now, but like Maya Angelou, and it's about, it's not how you make what you say, but it's how you make someone feel. So I don't want new agents to get caught up on, I forgot to say this or introduce that. It's really just about being present and being there for them, and, really taking it all in. Because, sometimes I think in the beginning, I was trying to go through all the steps and not forget anything, that I wasn't really listening fully. And then I would leave and I would go, there was a perfect opportunity there, because they were going to put all their money here, and that would have had taxes or, whatever it might have been. I wasn't listening to the full scenario of like, okay, well, we didn't talk about their house, or, how when one Social Security goes away, the other one is going to struggle. So I really started listening a lot more, and I think that made a big difference.
I think that's so key, Darlene, because like, I remember myself in the beginning, I was trying to, I was listening to the Paul McLean training, steps to a, final expense appointment. Right. And I wanted to make sure that I hit on all those points, and I'm saying the words exactly like he's saying it. And I have to sound like Paul or sound like Matt Smith or whoever to make it happen. And, I missed key things or I wasn't present, like you said, because I was listening to answer rather than listening to understand. Mm-hmm. And I think, when agents are going in there and it's your first week, you're just getting started, whatever, and you're actually just present and understand what's the problem that the customer is going to have if they pass away, right? What's the burden that they're leaving behind? Who are they burdening? And what was the reason why they really submitted that request, and how can we actually help them? I think that's where the magic happens, right? Is really solving a problem. And like you said, it's not so much the product, it's what the product will do for them. And through case design, we'll figure out the right product. Exactly. What tips do you have for new agents, right? You've been here for a few months now. You've been a top performer. What sales tips, in-home tips can you share with the folks on with us today that they can go out and use tomorrow, this week, next week, and actually make a difference in their appointments and in their clients' lives?
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as in-home, I'm really big on addressing people by name. I feel like, name, eye contact, of course, compliment something when I go in. I definitely, I'll joke a little bit, I don't spend a lot of time in the beginning like I did when I first went in an in-home. It was like an hour and a half, and half of it was just getting to know these people and their cats and everything else. So I'm definitely not spending that much time, but I definitely, try to make it personal where, I'm addressing them by name, I'm looking them in the eye. I'll throw in a line here or there about, how I can relate to something. They'll say their house is a mess. I'm like, you've seen nothing. I've got a 7 and a 10-year-old, so I try to relate to them. Lately, I've been doing the pictures where I take a picture with them at the end of my close day. I'll take a couple minutes and I'll text them that picture. I'll be like, it was so great to meet you, and help you and put coverage in place, kind of solidify it, have that picture of the two of us, when I'm in home, making sure that they save my number. So that way when I call, I don't, come up as spam or anything. They can call me, I did hear one thing Andrew Taylor said that I haven't implemented this yet, but I think it's a really awesome idea, where he had mentioned something in a video recently about sending a letter to the beneficiaries, just like with your information and how the person that you helped is like trying to put that protection in place for them. Cause I think that really makes, could make a sale really solid. But really, I mean, I just try to connect with them. I do the phone number, do the video, as far as in-home and that kind of thing goes.
Okay. What do you say to them when you're taking a picture with them to get that picture?
Yeah, I tell them, like, I am such a visual person. I would love to have a face to a name and my contact, and, I'll save it in their phone too. And I mean, for me, it helps me because as soon as I see that picture, I remember all sorts of random things about them. But, when you help so many clients and you're, writing 10, 15 apps a week, like, names kind of become a little bit of a blur. So for me, it's kind of, it kind of prompts me to remember their story quicker and stuff. But I just tell them that I really enjoy what I do. I love to take pictures with my clients and just make sure that, I have them saved in my phone and they can save me in theirs. So their kids or whoever can reach out to me if they need to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let's kind of wrap up with just one or two things here. So you're in a home, you go through the financial inventory, you've showed a client a few options, right? And we get the proverbial, I need to think about it, right? So how have you handled that? How have you been able to overcome the I need to think about it objection?
Sure. So I think kind of setting the table is big. You really want to set that expectation from the beginning that, you're busy, you're working this county, they only have you out one time. I take the sales pressure off by telling them that I'm not a salesperson. I'm just an underwriter. I come out one time. I'm going to go through these options with you. If we find something that makes sense, great. If not, there's just a little form you'll need to fill out that you don't want to protect your family with this coverage, So I kind of tell them from the beginning, so that way they kind of can't fall back on the think about it because they already know that wasn't an option. So that's helped quite a bit. But when they do throw that at me, that's when I really lay it on the carrier. That's great. I totally understand you want to think about it. How long do you think it would take for you to come up with a decision? And then they'll tell me a couple days and I'll tell them, okay, well, perfect. Because honestly, the carrier is going to take about the same amount of time to think if they want to cover you. So I know this coverage is important. It's something that we both realize that is going to be affordable to you, and it's something that's needed. So let's go ahead and send in this application and then see what they come back with. We can make adjustments after if we need to, but at least we'll have that peace of mind that we've got something in place, So I kind of push it on the carrier that it's really their job to make the decision.
Yeah, that's strong. And for those of you that are just kind of getting started and getting out into the field, the key to that is, what Darlene's talking about, and you'll hear this through boot camp and through different trainings. It's all about increasing credibility and reducing sales pressure, right? And because we're coming in there as field underwriters, we're not coming in there as salespeople. Our goal is to not is to take us out of the equation. That's probably the best way to say it, right? And so what Darlene's saying is, you know, when you set the table properly, when you start the meeting and your in-home presentation, what she's doing is she's saying, okay, we're gonna find an option that works best for you. If we don't, then there's a refusal of coverage form that you're going to sign that's saying you're not going to take care of your family, right? And so that way it's not on me, it's not on you guys, and there's no pressure. It's like, hey, it's on you. The decision's yours one way or the other. If we're going to get you covered, we're going to submit an application. If we're not, then we're going to sign a refusal of coverage form and say that you're refusing the coverage, right? And so that's a great takeaway, Darlene. And obviously, I'm sure that's working. Has that helped significantly once you started doing that?
It has. I'm a big believer in, like, I feel any downtime in the car, like listening to podcasts, and I'm always picking up a little piece here and a little piece there. And I think I probably started that about 3 weeks ago, and I like the results of it because I don't hear them think about it as much. I've already told them they can't. So
yeah, and I did an interview with Jake Conan a few weeks back, and that's one of the things he did is, he said something to the effect of, I'd rather them tell me no now than be indecisive, right? So we're going to get to a decision today, one way or another. And so that's the goal, guys, is, you're trying to put your customers in a position to make a decision, whether it's yes or no. But, if a customer is going to tell you I need to think about it and they're going to call you back, they're not going to call you back. I've seen thousands of clients, and I probably have gotten less than a handful of people ever call me back that have told me they'd call me back, collected a business card, collected a brochure. And would you say that's accurate, Darlene?
Yeah, it's happened one time to me where someone called me and I was baffled. I'm like, who is this again? So yeah.
It's crazy. All right. Well, awesome. Any other things you want to leave the folks with today as we kind of wrap up with today's call?
Yeah. So, I really think that, this business and opportunity is absolutely amazing. It's all what you want to make out of it. But I think, like, the two things that I keep in my mind all the time is just discipline, to, stay on the phone, to push through the no's, push through the appointments that tell you no, the no-shows. Because the numbers are always going to work for you. But the more numbers you have, the better results you're going to have, So really determination has been like one thing that has really stuck with me, just sticking it out. Because anyone who's a top producer, they've seen their fair share of challenges, and they've just, the biggest difference between them and those that have given up is that they've just kept going. So that's just been my motivation, to just keep going.
Love it. I love it. What's been your biggest month?
I think I've had two that have been over 50. I think my second full-time month in was 50, and then over the summer. And truth be told, that catering business, I've still been operating that this year. And, so like last week was 1 week, for instance, where I didn't run like I normally do, but I make up for it on the days that I'm not. But this is the last month that I have anything kind of distracting. So I'm going to shoot for Hall of Fame after I get through this next week.
There you go. And then let me ask you guys, what's been your biggest month in deposits?
I don't really pay attention. I don't know. I probably should pay attention to it more. It's been good though. Yeah.
Well, you got to give us a number. You can't just give us
probably like 30, maybe, because I know the other 75% comes later. So I think probably around 30. 30. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, solid month. Month. So. Well, awesome, Darlene. Well, hey, thank you so much for jumping on. Guys, drop a 100 in the chat. Show Darlene some love. She took time out of her dial day to pour into us and share the knowledge that she has and that she's experienced and gained during her time here. Darlene, there's no surprise why you're a top producer. You seem, obviously you're a hard worker. You're working two businesses, not only one. I know you're super coachable, and Clay put it in here as well. And your attitude goes a long way. And so, thank you so much for pouring into us. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I look forward to seeing you become a Hall of Fame producer. And if there's anything I can do to help you in your journey, please let me know.
All right. Thanks so much. Hopefully that was help to y'all. All right. Bye.
Thank you, guys. All right, guys, it's dial day. Let's go out there. Let's set some more appointments. 15 is the goal. And we'll see you guys in the leaderboard. Take care.